Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Tammy, a workforce specialist with Workforce Solutions, North Texas. In a moment, we will be discussing how to wow your next employer and dressing for success. But first, a little bit about who we are. Dedicated to helping Texas employers and job seekers succeed, Workforce Solutions North Texas provides services to employers and job seekers in the following counties: Archer, Baylor, Clay, Cottle, Ford, Hardeman, Jack, Montague, Wichita, Wilbarger, and Young. Our mission is to place North Texans in jobs and to equip workers with skills that foster economic development. Services to job seekers and employers are provided at no cost. Due to the pandemic, our normal delivery of services have been temporarily interrupted. Our staff will work with you virtually as we work to safely open our doors to assist you in person. What we offer: WorkinTexas.com, the job search website for the state of Texas. Job search assistance, resume development, interview workshops, job fairs and hiring events, as well as access to computer, printer, and fax when our offices are open. Now let's talk about wowing your next employer. In order to wow your employer, we will discuss the following: developing your resume, creating a cover letter, preparing for the interview, end of the interview, after the interview, as well as some good reminders. Develop your resume. Purpose of a resume: a document used to promote your skills, abilities, and knowledge. Employers use resumes to identify qualified candidates and invite them to an interview. It's a marketing tool to show how your skills match with what the employer needs. An overview of your fit for their open position. Contents of a resume: you want to make sure to have clear statements promoting your talents and why you should receive an interview. Include your skills that match what the employer stated in their ad, using some of the same words and phrasing. Show the employer you understand what they want. Resumes answer key questions. Who are you? What can you do for me? Do you have the skills I'm looking for? Where have you worked before? Is your experience relevant to my needs? And do you have the right education and experience for the job? Cover letter. What is a cover letter? It's a letter that introduces you to the employer. It's designed to get the reader's attention and ensure your job application is followed up on. We'll highlight your experience and skills which relate to the position in which you applied. Reinforce your enthusiasm for the job. Be clear. Why do you want the job, and why are you the right person for it? Preparing for the interview. It's always a good idea in preparation for your interview to learn about the company, review your what, have, wills, and how much. Prepare for questions that they're going to ask you, things you should do the day before an interview, the day of the interview, and after the interview. Learning about the company. It might be a good idea to know the size of the company, the number of employees they have, what is their annual revenue, how has their growth been, their past and present as well as future potential, what about the products and services that they sell. Know where the home office is located and who the CEO is. Some good resources are Glassdoor.com, where you can research available positions, their rates of pay, and company information for your geographical area. BestJobInterview.com is everything you ever wanted to know about searching for a job, writing the perfect cover letter, and sending a thank you letter after the interview. Know where you're going. Use Google Maps to find the location of the employer, or do a trial run. The employer's assumption from your preparation is that your thoroughness will transfer to your performance on the job. Review your whats, haves, wills, and how much. Answering the question, what? What do you really want to do with the rest of your life at this time? Does the job you're interviewing for match what you really want to do? Try to think of 1 or 2 examples of how it matches. For example, if I do not play video games, should I apply for a customer service position at a game store? The haves. Think of several skills you believe a person in this occupation would have to be successful. Compare these skills to yours. Prepare at least 2 examples of how you have successfully used each of these skills. The wills. Think of a few traits that successful people will have in this occupation. Prepare at least 2 examples of similar traits you possess and you will use on the job. Here are the top 10 traits of an ideal employee. They listen to instructions, take responsibility for their actions, takes initiative, gives credit to others when credit is due. They're responsive. They perform their duties cheerfully. They're dependable, healthy, self-disciplined, and they exceed expectations. The how much. Research what people in this occupation are paid. Know what you are worth and are willing to accept. Reminder, this is not a good idea to determine during the interview. Glassdoor is a great place to do your research. Do you know the fair wage for the job you're applying for? Prepare for these questions. Number 1, tell me about yourself. Pick a couple of points about yourself, your job experiences and accomplishments, not a bio. 2, what would previous supervisors say about you? For example, would they say that you would agree that you're an honest employee who works hard to do things right the first time? 3, why should we hire you? This is your opportunity to briefly lay out your strengths, qualifications, and what you can bring to the table. The day before the interview, know what points you want to say. Make sure they know what you can and will bring to the job. Assemble your materials and use a clean folder. Take some resumes, several copies in case there's more than one interviewer, the questions you want to ask them, perhaps letters of recommendation, a notepad, and pens. At your interview, start off confidently. First impression is right here, right now. Make good eye contact, have a pleasant smile. Make sure to introduce yourself. Sit when asked, but not before. Be comfortable. Try not to sit looking into the sun if you're interviewing in a room that has windows to the outside world. Sit facing the interviewer, but a little off center. Listen actively. Look directly, but do not stare. Take notes. It shows you're interested and paying attention. Make affirming comments like, I see, okay, very good, etc. A head nod works too. Speak clearly and slowly. Be sure to use proper grammar. Be positive and enthusiastic. Clarify answers without rambling. Remember, less is best. Never ever moan, groan, gripe, or complain about past employers, jobs, etc. Questions to ask the employer. What types of projects or duties will I be working on? Is this a new position or will I be filling a vacant position? What qualities are you looking for in your prospective candidate? What characteristics do successful employees in your company share? What is the next step? When is the decision going to be made? And when can I expect to hear from you so you're not left hanging? The end of the interview. Cues that the interview is over. If the interviewer says, do you have any questions for me? If they look at the clock, if they seem disinterested. Do not linger when the interview is over. Stand up and thank the interviewer for taking the time to meet with you. Express your interest in being hired. Tell them you're impressed with the company and that you would welcome the opportunity to work there. After the interview, send a thank you note by email restating your interest in the job. Make sure to spell names correctly. If you do not hear back within the time frame they told you, send a polite reminder that you're still interested in the job. Reminders. Do not take your cell phone into the interview. Do not take your friends or family. Do not take food or drinks. Always be ready for an interview, even when dropping off at an application. Now let's talk about dressing for success. In this part of the presentation, I will cover a few important points about dressing for your job interview and for the job itself. Remember, dressing for success is not only about the clothes you wear, but the total appearance package. First, let's go over a few specifics about interviewing. First impressions lay the foundation for deciding what we think about the people we meet. In the first 6 seconds of our interaction with another person, we will decide whether or not we think they're trustworthy, friendly, nice, smart, responsible, etc. Hiring managers are the same way. It's always smart to remember that a first impression can become a lasting impression, and we sometimes don't get a second chance. Remembering that your overall appearance is being evaluated by the interviewer, the following are some important steps to take before ever putting on your interview clothes. Get a good night's rest and set the alarm. You never want to be late for a job interview. If you are, you've already set the tone for whether or not they can count on you to be there and on time to work. Take a shower. Smelling fresh and clean is essential. Make sure to shampoo your hair and style it. Brush your teeth and make sure your breath is fresh and clean. Chewing gum or having candy in your mouth is distracting for the person you are speaking to and may impair what you're trying to say. Again, smelling clean and fresh is always a good thing, so be sure to use deodorant or antiperspirant. Strong perfumes and colognes may be offensive, or you may even find that the person you're interviewing with is allergic. That's not a good time to find this out, so avoid them. Choose a simple hairstyle. Maybe you wear your hair up most of the time, but take some extra time to be sure and fix it into a simple style, or just wear it down that day. Go light on the makeup. You want it to look natural, not like you're going to the club. Gentlemen, make sure that your facial hair is nicely groomed or clean shaven. Visible body piercings and tattoos are not permitted in some places of employment. Take out your piercings and cover your tattoos when going for an interview. Make sure your fingernails are clean and trimmed. Do not take your cell phone into the interview. Do not take your friends or family. Do not take food or drinks. Always be ready for an interview, even when dropping off an application. You are what you wear. Project a professional image. Attire should add to your appearance, not detract from your business persona. Adhere to a conservative dress standard. You should check out the company culture and dress code and dress accordingly for your interview. What about the clothes you wear? Wear clean, freshly pressed clothes. No wrinkles, folks. Dress in clothes that you would expect to wear on the job as a minimum. Avoid trendy fashions, bright colors, and patterns that clash. Check for proper fit, comfort, and serviceability. Empty your pockets. Now that you're packaged, there are still some things you need to do or not do before you head out the door. As we discussed earlier in the presentation, never bring anyone with you to an interview. Have a nice folder with copies of your resume so that you may give one to the interviewer or interviewers. Even if you submitted a resume when you applied, it's a nice touch to show how prepared you are. Have a typed copy of your personal references as well, and a picture ID and social security card. Take work samples or your portfolio if required, money for tolls, gas, or public transportation, a notebook, and a pen that works. The employer may have some paperwork for you to fill out. It's always a best practice to have a pen of your own in black or blue ink. You don't look prepared if you have to ask to borrow a pen. Make sure you have the interviewer's name and their phone number, and arrive 10 to 15 minutes early. Remember, early is on time and on time is late. No skating in at the buzzer. They pay attention to arrival time. Walk through the door with a big smile and a positive mental attitude. From the moment you walk in the door, you're on. It is common for an employer to ask support staff about their interactions with you. Remember this, you should treat the janitor with as much respect as the CEO. Now that you're hired, in today's workplace, what is appropriate to wear on the job? In those companies where there is a written, established dress code, your problem is already solved for you. It's in black and white. Dress according to company policy and you can't go wrong. If the written policy is confusing to you as a new employee, observe what other employees are wearing and copy them. A basic mistake new employees often make is underdressing. If unsure, dress conservatively. The best ways to avoid a mistake is to understand the company culture and never be afraid to simply ask. Remember, when you accept a job offer, you are also accepting the environment which goes with the job. Failing to do this will alienate you from other employees, making you a nonconformist or viewed as not being a team player. Making the right impression with your boss isn't hard when you keep 3 basic points in mind when buying work clothes. Number 1, presentation counts. 2, casual attire shouldn't be untidy. 3, dress as you want to be seen, serious, professional, upward bound. When a company does not have a written dress code, it's up to you to get it right. Take care with what you wear. Keep in mind that you are representing the company and put your best foot forward. Dress appropriate for the occupation or the task at hand. Your appearance can create credibility with your customers, coworkers, and the boss. Avoid making a statement. You're at work, not a fashion show. Some general rules of thumb are knowing the difference between casual and business casual, refrain from wearing sleeveless shirts or blouses and anything with graphics on them, unless it's the company logo. Never ever wear tight, baggy, or sexy clothes. Here are some examples of men's dress codes from business formal, which is a full suit including vest and tie, to more casual, like t-shirts and jeans. For our ladies, here are some examples of dress codes for women, from business formal with a coordinating jacket and slacks to casual wear like printed t-shirts.